So hi and welcome, and today finally I'm going to be reviewing the SKYPAD. This is a glass mouse pad, and this is definitely something to stick around to listen to. This has got some interesting glide speeds as well as dimensions, and this is definitely an unusual design for a mouse pad. So if you're not following my channel, hit the like and subscribe so you get the latest content to give you the competitive edge. We do a lot of latency tests, glide tests, so you're going to be on that to make sure you get the right gaming gear for the right game. So let's start with the price. Well, I bought this myself. It was $79 US, 79 UK pounds, plus import tax, probably made it around 90 UK pounds. Certainly up there with one of the most expensive pads I've reviewed. The Artisans were certainly on a similar level, so we're going to expect quite a lot from this mouse pad. So let's start with the design. Well, this is textured glass on the top, which is good. I didn't expect it to be. I thought it was going to be very smooth, and this texture provides it a little bit more control. Talk about that later on. The base also has rubber feet, so it doesn't slide around on your desk, because glass wouldn't grip very well on a hard surface. And they also do a few different colours. This one's a black one, they do a white one, and they're also doing a custom one now where you can have your own logo on it. It does look pretty good. Looking at it myself, but it's $134 US to start. Can understand why, because it's custom, but it is a little bit pricey. So the edges, we're not going to cut your wrist on this. This has got rounded edges that have been smoothed, so there's literally no catching edges on it. It's very, very nice. And also, as you know, I don't like stitched edges, so that's definitely a bonus. It does have a logo on the bottom right corner. Normally they get in the way. Normally they slow your mouse down. Normally people put them in stupid places. This one's in a good place, and this one's under the glass, so you won't even notice it when you roll your mouse over there, if you get that far down, or you're a lefty. Breakage-wise, because it's glass, you might think you might shatter it. I've dropped a glass on it. It's been good. I haven't chipped it or anything. If you want to see some pure durability, go check out Boardsy throwing it around. Cracked me up when I saw his video. He shows you how durable it is. Definitely worth a look if you haven't seen that one already, which most of you I'm sure have. Feet wise, well, this one's mainly for PTFE feet. You don't want to use ceramics or glass feet, which Pulsar have released. I'll be doing a review on those soon, because that's going to scratch the surface and PTFE will absorb a little bit of grit, whereas ceramic and glass don't. It'll just crush it or scrape it across your glass surface. So I wouldn't recommend using any hard skates on this. So wear and tear, well, it's glass, so this is going to wear really well. It will get some light scratches on it, as all glass does over time. If you keep it maybe in decent condition, you might not get any, but even fine grit's going to get under your skates, and it will potentially damage the surface. But it's not going to be anything like a Helios or a cloth pad, where they slow down quite quickly compared. This one's going to last you a long time. And even so, you could even polish it with a bit of pledge if you wanted to make it come back to life, or as some people have shown, be extremely slippy. One of the things to note here is that I found I was continuously brushing in front of it or on the pad itself to get off any micro grain of sand, dust, grit, anything, because as soon as you run it, even with PTFE feet, you can feel it scraping or catching on the mouse. That's probably one of the main things that kind of niggled me on this pad. You have to understand that because it's glass, there is no giving it, and therefore you feel every little bit of dirt on it. So something to bear in mind. The other thing I've noticed is if you've got a sweaty arm and it's quite hot here at the minute, it's about 35 degrees in this room, some in the UK. I don't have air conditioning, and my arm's been sweating a little bit, and over time I can see that sweat building up on the pad. Now, as it's a glass pad, really easy to clean, bit of alcohol or water, just rub it across it and that cleans it, no problem whatsoever. Because my arm's been sticking, I've been using a sleeve. I have used the SKYPAD sleeve or the lizard skin sleeve, so if you want me to do a review on those two, let me know. Well, they've been helping me not stick to the table or to the glass surface, but pretty sure you're going to need one in most circumstances because this glass is going to stick to your arm. So dimensions before we get into the glide test. Well, it comes in at 450 millimeters wide, 370 millimeters in height, and it's 4 millimeters thick. That includes the feet. So this is a good height as well. Definitely my preference range here. This is the XL version, they call it. For me, it's more of a large pad. So now onto the glide test, and I'm still slacking a little bit of getting the data on these lower tests that I need to catch when we introduce these newer tests. But I'm hopefully going to try and get that very shortly because I want to get that data sorted out and then put onto my website. But the first test here compares all the pads that I've done so far. And this is using the cable Zowie because we used that originally as the benchmark. So starting off with the mouse with the cable, the NFW average was 27 grams, the NSW average was 20 grams, RFW average was 27 grams, and RS average was 18 grams, and the average here came in at 23 grams. Now this doesn't make it the fastest pad, it's certainly up there with the faster pads, but this original test here is showing it not to be the fastest, which I don't know if three of you might be shocked at, but keep watching this because there's some more interesting information in this friction test. So the next test is no cable and flat again. NFW average was 22 grams, NSW average 19 grams, RFW average 21 grams, RSW average 20 grams. Now this brings it into the more line with the other pads here. It's about 1 gram off, and as you can see, this is certainly sitting there with the other pads that are faster. The weighted mouse version, which is 300 grams, came in with an NFW average of 67 grams, NSW average 68 grams, RFW average 64 grams, RS average 59 grams. And again, this one's higher up there at 63 average, but it's not a million miles away from the MPC 450, which is one of the fastest pads out there and my main pad at the moment. Hoping to get some more samples so we can see this across all the pads, just need to get there. If you're not familiar with what these results are, check out the video in the description. There's one there showing how to take my measurements. Hopefully by now most of you are familiar with this. So moving on to the friction test or angle test. With no cable, the NFW was 6 degrees, NSW 6 degrees, RFW 6 degrees, RSW 7 degrees. And this came with an average of 6 degrees before it let go. This puts it as the easiest starting mouse for friction that we've tested, and no surprise given the glass surface. So it's definitely one of the fastest here on that point. And for the weighted version on NFW, the average was 5 degrees, NSW 6 degrees, RFW 5 degrees, RSW 6 degrees. Came in again at 6 degrees again showing us a similar result here, putting it up the top there. Again, making it one of the easiest ones to start, which kind of leads us into stopping power. And this is why I think people think this is a fast pad, because it has little friction to start, which makes it really quick in short bursts, but over a longer period where the glide test is on the flat surface, you can see there is some friction. So it's quick at starting, so micro movements, micro adjustments, maybe a little bit too quick for some people. It's certainly going to lack quite a bit of control. But over a longer period, it does get some grip because of that textured glass surface. So moving on to movement, which means does the pad move on the actual desk itself? And the spillage test. So movement, I couldn't get this thing to move. Grips to my desk like glue with these rubber feet. It is rock solid. And spill test, well, most Friday nights I spill beer all over it. And when I'm streaming on Twitch, if you're not already, check me out on Friday nights. I'll just wipe it off easily with a cloth. No problem. So wrapping this up with the conclusion. Overall, this pad surprised me. I didn't expect to like the SKYPAD, especially being glass. I didn't think it was going to be as good a surface as it was. It gave me some control, especially on longer movement. It's also quite quick in terms of micro movements, and did give me a bit of a decision whether I use this one over my MPC 450. The one thing that changes me a little bit there is I'm a little bit concerned over the grit and scratch in it, but I can't just leave it in the cupboard and be worried about it. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to use it or not as my main. So it is a good pad. The other thing you're going to need to do here is you're going to need to buy a sleeve. That would be my recommendation for it. I think you're going to have problems with it sticking and getting inconsistencies if you don't, unless you really have dry arms, then you probably won't have an issue. One thing to think about here is that the price range of this, if you want a durable pad and you know you're not going to scratch it, this is going to outlast all of the pads. I don't see how it wouldn't, so that's something to bear in mind. You might get good bang for your buck over a couple of years, but if you scratch it, you might feel that in your pads when you're rolling your mouse over it. We'll have to see. So that's it. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got the Razer Strider coming next, and we're going to get the rest of that data because I'm dying to see it. And I'll see you very soon. Catch you later. Bye bye.